The main mission of Story Dogs is for children to become confident lifelong readers. Reading is the essence of everything really, isn't it? And with so much of today of a lot of computers and technology, to be able to hold a book and to read a book and to share those journeys in the book, and not a better way than to share it with a dog, that gives you some confidence and shows you unconditional love, is the best way to be able to do reading.
A Kangaroo Fern production.
Welcome
to Guerrilla Podcast, Fresh Eyes.
The beat that makes you feel good.
A weekly podcast that features interviews with social change leaders or individuals that aims to bring audiences good stories to motivate their own social impact efforts. Now, here's your host.
Hello, Humanista. Welcome again to another episode of Guerrilla Podcast, Fresh Eyes. And for our second episode for the season 2, it's a little bit exciting, a different story. So when I was young, probably I'm in primary school, I'm struggling reading books. And my mom always nagged me, just read because it's going to be a great story for you. It's going to be open doors to everyone who loves reading books. And I agree with my mom. Because of that, loving reading my book, even I'm struggle, it's opened doors to different places that I've never been before, but just reading the book. And also, aside from that, who loves dogs as well? Every kid loves dog. I got dogs in my house right now. It's a Staffy. Well, every kid loves dogs as well. And every kid's also struggling in reading. So for today's episode, we're very lucky. Our guest for today is Natalie. She is the coordinator of Story Dogs in South Australia. And we're going to discuss about these Story Dogs, this non-profit organization, how it started. So please welcome Natalie. How are you? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you.
How's your day today?
My day's started off very well. Thank you.
Thank you for guest for our podcast
You're
today.
welcome.
So before we go ahead, tell us about yourself. How you become part of this good organization.
Right. I have my daughter lives in Western Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And about 3 years ago, she had seen a video on Story Dogs in Perth. They have a large group of teams in Western Australia, and she contacted me. She said, "Mum, I think this will be a really great thing for you." And I have at the time my Labrador Secret. She said, "I think this will be really good for you and Secret to be involved with." So I had a look at the video, and straight away I contacted Janine Sigley, who was one of the co-founders of Story Dogs, and she's in New South Wales. And I said to who I was, and I was very excited to see the program. And so they'd sent me all the forms. I was very impressed with their website and all the information that they had given. And I looked at all the information to become a volunteer, and I remember, and then I contacted Janine, and I said to Janine, I would like to become the coordinator of Adelaide. And I think she nearly fell off of her chair because not many people really offered to do those roles. I was very impressed with the organisation. So that was 3 years ago. So we actually have a team in Whyalla and in Mount Gambier as well. So I'm the Adelaide coordinator. So I did my training over in Western Australia, went over there and stayed with my daughter and her family. We had the dog assessments done here in Adelaide. I have a lovely lady called Sophie, who's a fantastic dog trainer, and she's my dog assessor. So Janine came over and did my training as a coordinator and a volunteer, and my dogs were assessed. So I have the 2 dogs. I have Secret, my Labrador. She started out when she was 10. And I have a Brussels Griffon, Miss Fergie. So Miss Fergie started when she was about 7. So they're the two dogs that we started here in Adelaide. So that's how I started my journey. I was formerly a veterinary nurse for about 23 years. So love dogs and love children, and have worked a lot with children, and currently I'm a pastoral care worker at a school. So I think it's the best thing that I could be doing is with dogs and children. It doesn't get better than that.
How is the literacy program in South Australia? How's the kids?
The children's, with Story Dogs, it's a one-on-one reading program. The children are actually selected by the teachers. So there may be children who are reluctant readers, who may not want to read in front of an adult, but the presence of a dog gives them confidence. Some children may be quite good readers, but they don't feel that they're very confident at their reading. Some children may just not feel comfortable. They don't have a lot of self-confidence. So having the presence of a dog, and the children are very much aware that we're there with our dogs, but we relay everything through the dogs. So an example would be that if we're reading a book and I might say, well, Secret doesn't quite understand what this word means. Would you be able to help Secret with that word? Or would you be able to help Secret what's happening on this page? Or I would say something like, Miss Fergie, this is a brand new book. Miss Fergie hasn't heard this book before. So would you like to be able to read to them? So that's how the program, we're a one-on-one program. So the children can build up their confidence with reading. And I, as a coordinator and as a volunteer with the program, I can see the difference that it's making with some of these children who were first a little bit reluctant and weren't quite sure, and then are very happy to come each week to read.
So how is the Story Dog started?
How did this program start?
Yeah, the program started.
In 2009, Janine Sigley and Leah Sheldon had their children going to I think it was the Murwillumbah East public school in New South Wales, and they'd heard about a program called the R.E.A.D program in Utah, which was the Reading Education Assistance Dog reading program in Utah. And they'd heard about this program and thought, this might be quite a good thing, because they could obviously see that there was some children that weren't very confident readers. So they had approached the staff and the principal at the school, and at first, I think their first reaction from the principal was, oh yeah, we'll give it a year. We'll see how it goes. Once they'd started the program, he could see the difference that it was making for these children, how eager they were to read. They could see the difference in the levels of the children's reading. So that was how the program started. So last year, we celebrated our 10th anniversary with Story Dogs. We currently have over 2,500 children on the program that will probably be reading to a dog in the week. We have around 500 dog teams. We are Australia-wide apart from the Territory. We don't have anything in the Northern Territory. And we have currently about 310 schools that are a part of the program. We would love it to be Australia-wide. That is the aim of Story Dogs. We're a non-for-profit. I'm a volunteer with the program as the coordinator and volunteer with the program as well. And I was just so impressed with how they run and how they treat us as volunteers and coordinators.
So what is the main mission of the Story Dogs?
The main mission of Story Dogs is for children to become confident lifelong readers. Reading is the essence of everything, really, isn't it? And with so much of today of a lot of computers and technology, to be able to hold a book and to read a book and to share those journeys in the book, and not a better way than to share it with a dog that gives you some confidence and shows you unconditional love, is the best way to be able to do reading.
What do you think because as you said, it's everything now is digital right now.
Mm.
What do you think is there any obstacle of the story dogs to, because some kids now is always on the iPad, always on instead of reading books? Is that a big obstacle with story dogs?
I don't see that as an obstacle with story dogs. You have a dog involved, children want to be able to go and see the dogs. And I have to say, when I go to the school, it's always, hello, Secret, hello, Miss Fergie. We're always second, and that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. The dogs are the essence of why the children want to be able to read. So they know that we're there, but they can read to the dog, they can sit with the dogs, they can relate to the dogs. The dogs love being around the children and show their love to them. I don't think, my personal view is that these programs will stop because of that. I think because of the digital, we can still have that, but I think to hold a book and to look at a book, we get to know the children that you read with as well. So I get to know what books the children like to read and what levels that they're easy. You don't want children struggling. It's no good in getting a book that's really hard for a child that is struggling. So you want to be able to get them a book. There are times when we've started a book and we'll say to them, I don't know whether we really like this book. What do you think, Secret? Or what do you think, Miss Fergie? And then we can change the books for the children if they don't seem to be enjoying that. But you try and find the books that the children love to read and are interested in, what their focus is on.
How is important the reading?
How is important? Sorry, what was the question? Sorry.
How is important the reading to, like, for the children?
The reading?
Yeah.
It's important for children to be able to understand reading. We need to be able to read and to understand and to get a knowledge of words. Initially, when we're reading with the children, punctuation, all that, it doesn't matter. We don't do a lot of corrections then. You want to be able to get the children just to understand reading and to enjoy it. If we were pushing at the children, trying to correct all the time, they would get quite uncomfortable with that and would feel a little embarrassed. So that all comes in time. It's a matter of the children enjoying the book, looking at a book, enjoying a story, having an adventure, reading with the dogs.
Some kids is very fearful on reading.
Yes.
So is the story dogs
Helps that? Yeah. And the teachers pick out the children, and in my time, we don't often get to see or hear from the parents. I've been fortunate in some times where I've run into the parents at the schools. I often try and go to assemblies with the dogs and meet the school community. And I've been very fortunate to meet the parents, and they'll say to me, "Oh, Natalie, it is just so wonderful how my child is going with story dogs." There was a little boy I used to read with. His English was his second language. And the first books we started out, he was very limited in his reading. By the end, when he finished the program, his reading was astounding, and his mum would approach me and say just how much he had improved with his reading, and his confidence had soared because of that. So that's how that works, is building up children's confidence, trust also in me as bringing the dogs along, trust in me as the person that is there. And some of the best times with the children is when we walk to and back from the classrooms and ask the children how their week's been and what they've been doing. So you get to know these children, and you get to know how they are and their response to the dogs that they're reading to.
Is there any good stories? What's the reaction of the parents or the school that you're doing the program?
The schools love them. We have the schools each year, their only responsibility, because we don't charge going into the school. We are volunteers. So their responsibility is to have a annual Story Dogs Day. That's usually the first Friday in May. So the schools can have a fundraiser, whatever. We might have an orange day, or, come dressed in your pyjamas, or give a gold coin donation, or have your favourite dog picture. The school's responses have been amazing, just wonderful. The teachers that I get to meet and to talk to, I have a lot of schools that want to take the program on, but I just don't have a lot of the volunteers trained at the moment. So I have a lot of people or schools that say, we'd really love, we've heard about your program, we've looked at your Facebook page, we've seen some videos, and we'd really love to have a story dog at your school. So I take their information, they'll fill in forms, and I have them on my records. So I'd love more teams. I currently have a team that I'm starting off in our Drossen area school. I have a team at Prospect North Primary, and I'm hoping to be training a couple of people in next term to branch out here in Adelaide.
So how many team are you right now in SA?
There's me with Secret and Miss Fergie. I have Cindy and Archie at Prospect North Primary School. At our Drossen area school, I have Clive and Julie with their dogs, with their 2 Labradors. And we have teams in Whyalla and Mount Gambier. We have got a coordinator in Whyalla and Mount Gambier. They have a few teams there as well. But in Adelaide, there is me and Cindy and Archie, and we're starting off in the Drossen area school, and Julie will become the coordinator in Drossen, and we're hoping that she'll be able to branch out in that area.
So to our listener and also audience, if they're interested to be part of the Story Dogs, what are the requirements?
What were the requirements?
Yeah, I got dog, but I have Staffy,
I know.
but it's very clever. So he doesn't sit. He loves kids, but
yes, we have. So you would go to the website, our Story Dogs website, and there is forms in there to fill in as a volunteer and your dog. So the dogs are assessed. So we all may have lovely dogs, and we all love our dogs, but not all dogs may be suitable beyond the Story Dogs team. So we have qualified dog assessors that will come and assess the dogs, because we're working with children, so we need dogs that are very suitable for working with children. So they have a dog assessor. As a volunteer, we have to have all of the correct forms, child safe forms and all of that before we can go into a school as well. And the commitment, so it's once a week commitment to do this with the Story Dogs program. So you need to be able to be willing to do that as well and pick a school. Most people probably have a school that they may be associated with that want the program. Otherwise, I've had schools that have contacted me and say, we really love a Story Dog. And I contact them and go, we'd really love you to have a team as well, but I just need some dog teams. So the qualifications, we're very strict with that, but very successful, because we are working in the schools, and we're working with the public, and we're working with children.
So just go to the website and then...
Yeah, there's www.storydogs.org to go to there. We have Facebook page as well. It's very comprehensive. You'll see under there's volunteering, schools information. They have all the packs that are available there. Fill in the forms. For being the coordinator in Adelaide, you would contact me as the Story Dogs coordinator, and the information is on. If you go down to South Australia and you have a look at the teams there, you'll see my name here as part of Adelaide, and contact me via an email and fill in your information, and then we'll go from there. I usually like to ring people as well personally and contact them and keep in touch that way.
What is the future now of Story Dogs? So as you say, it's almost 10 years now. Any
future is bigger and better. Yeah, bigger and better. I mean, last year we got to the 2,000 children. We're over 2,500 children now. So it's growing. And I put that down to the organisations, the way they run, how well they run, the care that they give to us as coordinators and volunteers as well. They're very professional way. So we can see nothing but growing for the Story Dogs program. And I said we'd love it if every school in Australia would be able to have a Story Dogs team.
A couple of months ago, there's a bushfire. Is the program affected because of that, or you have other program to help these kids that affected area? Bruce,
who's the coordinator from Whyalla, he saw that need, so he's been visiting a local school at Lobethal. The name escapes me at the moment, with his dog, his Labrador, not as a story dog, but to see the children. So he spoke to Janine about it, and she said, "Bruce, I think that's a fantastic idea." So he's been visiting the school just to be bringing him in and meeting the children and helping them to feel relaxed. So we have taken that on board, and I'm in a local school around here, so it hasn't had that effect, the bushfire effect, so much on the children here. But there was Bruce, the coordinator, who thought, I see a need for there, and has been visiting these schools for the last couple of weeks, which has been a really, really positive thing to do. I'm not sure in the New South Wales or whatever where that's been happening, but I certainly know here in South Australia, Bruce saw the need and has branched out to do that.
So you're looking at on South Australia to get more volunteer and get more school to do the program.
That would be excellent.
That's
the aim, to be able to do that, to branch out, to get a coordinator down south as well. I live in the northern suburbs, so we're wanting people to be able to, maybe down south and east, so they can be a coordinator, and then they can develop their own teams around them as well. So that would be the aim here within Adelaide, to be able to do that. Because a lot of, you've got to organise things, you've got to be able to run around and meeting people and support your volunteers. You want to be able to do that in the right way.
How about children which is not able to go to school because of some financial
circumstances?
Yeah.
We programs run within schools, so that's the idea of the programs, is going into school and to one-on-one reading. I do presentations at different times with a one-on group that I might meet with the group, but we still and I might read to the children there, but we are a one-on-one reading program, so not as groups or whatever.
Group, yeah. How it's work? So say the school want to be part of the program. So how
does that work?
It does work, yeah.
I would, in the circumstances, you would obviously contact the school. I work at a school, so there was one school that I work at, the other school that I did some mentoring with, and chose that school as my other school to do reading with, where Secret goes to. So then you'd speak to the school principals. We have school orientation packs, so then you would show them that. We come down and meet with the school principal. We go through these orientation packs to make sure that everybody's on board, as to know how the program runs. The teachers also get a pack that the child that they would select. I know at my school, every child has their name written down on a consent form, just in case they get picked for the program. And there are times, if we're doing one-on-one and a child might be away, and we've got some time, I can go to the classroom and say, would you be able to pick somebody who'd just like to be able to read as a one-off today? Because more than that, we need to get permission from parents for them to be able to do that.
That's a fantastic program. So because we have no time right now, so any message to our audience and listener about the Story Dogs?
I can see as a coordinator the huge benefits that the program has brought to the children. I see the joy being with the dogs that brings to the children as well, and how they relate so well to that. I had an incident recently when I had my Labrador Secret was down at our vet clinic, and a lady came in and she said, "Hello, Natalie." No, she said, "Hello, Secret." And I said, "Oh, do I know you?" She said, "Yes." She said, you come and read to my child at the school." And she said, "I am so grateful for this program and how it's helped him to enjoy reading, and how he's become a much more confident reader." I don't get to hear a lot from the parents. So what I can say is what the feedback that I'm getting and the people that I meet have nothing but praise for the program and are so grateful that their child can be a part of it. And we would love all children to be a part of it, but unfortunately we can't do it.
We need more volunteers.
Yes, more volunteers to be able to do that, to come in and read to the listen to the children read.
That's good. Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome.
Thank you for coming to the show for the podcast, and thank you for the Story Dogs as well, that have the time for us to tell the story of the Story Dogs. And yeah, if you want to volunteer, if you have a dog, just let Natalie know, and she's happy to help you as well.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this is another episode of Fresh Eyes Guerrilla Podcast. Thank you so much. And if you like, please like, subscribe, and comment. And if you want to continue this podcast, share some love. So check my Patreon at patreon.com/kangaroofirm. Thank you so much. See you next week again. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and if you want to know more, check out kangaroofern.com.